Thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. Let's talk about secondary conditions to tinnitus. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is because there is a potential that the VA is going to eliminate tinnitus as a rated condition. They're not eliminating the word tinnitus. They're going to leave that as a symptom for other conditions. So if the VA's proposed rule does go into effect at some point in time, that they would eliminate tinnitus as a rated condition and move it over as a symptom of another condition. Something like, say, Meniere's disease. Meniere's disease has tinnitus as a potential symptom of its disease, right? So Meniere's disease is kind of like a difficulty kind of staying steady when you're walking, kind of have a vertigo feeling, maybe a little bit unsteady gait type of a thing. So in any case, here's the bottom line. If you have not filed tinnitus and you're not 100% permanent and total, right? If you're trying to get to the permanent and total rating and you have not filed tinnitus, this might be something you should be thinking about if you have tinnitus, right? So ringing in the ear. Now, tinnitus itself is only a 10% rating. However, there are secondary conditions that can be as a result of your tinnitus. I wanted to dive into that a little bit. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. The two asks, hit that thumbs up and let the video run. That puts this into the hands of those that need it. Secondly, if you want to support the channel in other ways, consider being a member. You can go to the home page. You will see a highlighted members section and a join button somewhere near that. Thank you to all your members. And becoming a member helps me to find you quicker in the comments. All right, so tinnitus, ringing in the ears. I've done videos in the past on tinnitus, ringing in the ears. I recently did one with internal document from the DoD and VA, essentially outlining the different MOSs and AFSCs that are highly probable and moderately probable of causing tinnitus, which is used as a rating aid by the VA to help them go, you know what, it's probably true that you have tinnitus because you were artillery or you worked on jet engines or whatever it is, right? So there's all your different MOSs and it'll say basically moderately, probably, and probably not. I don't remember the exact words, but basically there's three categories: no, maybe, yes. And if you fall in the maybe and yes, you have a good shot at getting it approved through the VA. And if for some reason the VA denies you, that evidence would probably be pretty strong if you pushed it through for an appeal and a judge looked at it. They would probably concede that the threshold has been met. For those that don't know, the threshold with the VA is at least likely as not. If evidence is in equipoise, meaning it's equal on both sides, the VA is supposed to rule in your favor. Do they get it right all the time? No. That's why there's the whole process. So, moving back into it, migraine headaches are probably the biggest secondary condition for tinnitus. Migraine headaches, they're horrible. And if you get migraine headaches as a result of your tinnitus, there could be substantial payments in your ratings. And again, if you're not already 100% permanent and total, these two things combined could help get you there. Your tinnitus, again, can only be rated at 10%. However, migraines can be rated as high as 50%. 50% is a huge rating. Not everybody gets there, but you could get to 50%. You could get 30% for your migraines, which is still substantial. Now, the other piece to this pie of permanent and total is your condition must be static in nature, or the VA must deem that it's not looking to become any better, or your age is a factor, or other reasons why they're not going to have you come in for a future exam. If the VA does not deem you need to come in for a future exam, your condition is deemed as static, and they should be adding that to the pot for you to get you to that permanent and total. If you have future exams scheduled, they're not going to put you permanent and total unless you have enough static conditions that meet the 100% mark using the VA funny math. So you have to have enough conditions that are static in nature where the VA deems there's no reason to have a future exam that equate to 100% in VA funny math. You can have other ratings that have future exams, we'll say, that aren't deemed as basically static, that they could potentially get better. What happens then is the VA goes, okay, we'll have a future exam for you, but as soon as you hit 100% with static conditions, the VA is supposed to eliminate the future exams on those other conditions as well and make you permanent in total. I know it's confusing. So migraine headaches are a huge win for static condition for static conditions a lot of times, and for getting you closer to that 100% mark. Depression or mental health in general. So depression is a mental health condition that is often caused by tinnitus, and that can also be rated for you and get you closer. The other would be anxiety. So anxiety is also mental health, but the bottom line here is, look, whether you're depressed or you're anxious due to your tinnitus, you have a mental health claim that can go there. And I'll add in insomnia. Let's say you're laying in bed trying to go to sleep, but all you hear is, right? Sorry. So that's all you hear. Look, it's hard to, it really becomes difficult to sleep sometimes. A quiet room is not a quiet room. In fact, a quiet room is probably the worst room because that's all you can hear. So if you have a mental health condition due to your tinnitus, you can file that as a secondary condition. And oftentimes, you'll see the whole range of different ratings. Often for me, I'll see 30s and 50s in this realm, either whether it's insomnia, anxiety, depression, combination of those or all of those under mental health for tinnitus. So it could be higher, could be lower. It just depends on the individual and the severity. The next one, somatic symptom disorder secondary to tinnitus. This one's interesting, and I'm going to read a little bit here. So somatic symptom disorder is characterized by an extreme focus on physical symptoms, such as pain or fatigue, that causes major emotional distress and problems with social and occupational functioning. Oftentimes, individuals with somatic symptom disorder have other diagnosed medical conditions that is associated with these problems. However, the individual's reaction to the actual medical condition is excessive or disproportionate to the actual problem. Veterans may become overly focused on their tinnitus symptoms and begin to worry about them excessively. If you fall into that bucket, that's another thing. Here's another one, sleep apnea secondary to tinnitus. Now, let me throw this in there. The VA, again, is proposing to eliminate tinnitus from the rating schedule. The VA is also looking to drastically reduce the rating schedules for sleep apnea. Today, if you have sleep apnea and you are prescribed a CPAP, you can get 50%. The VA's proposal is, if that CPAP works for you, then we're going to make you a 0%. So that's a big change. So if you have sleep apnea and you have tinnitus, your sleep apnea might be a result of your tinnitus. So if you're having a hard time proving service connection for sleep apnea as a service-connected condition, but you have tinnitus, your sleep apnea may be a result of your tinnitus if you're following the methodology here. So you could turn around, file for your tinnitus, get service connected for tinnitus with a secondary for sleep apnea. So it says here, sleep apnea is a potentially serious sleep disorder in which a person's breathing is repeatedly interrupted during the course of the night. If you have sleep apnea, you go through a sleep study, and I'll tell you what, if you don't know if you have sleep apnea, but let's say you're waking up a lot, or you snore a lot, or you stop breathing and your spouse wakes you up, you might have sleep apnea. So what I would do personally is, look, get that tinnitus claim in, go get a sleep study done, and figure it out if you have sleep apnea through your sleep study. And if you do, connecting that as a secondary condition is going to be very important. So imagine for a moment you have tinnitus at 10%. You have anxiety, depression, insomnia at another 30 or 50%. You have migraines at 30% or 50%. You have sleep apnea with a CPAP in today's world, another 50%. So that tinnitus rating alone, if you have these other conditions, can be gigantic. And I tell you what, if you have them and you're not putting in for them now, you risk the VA's proposal to change these rating schedules. And if they change them, you're out of luck. Get it in now so you can get grandfathered in later. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.